It's Monday night in Tryon, North Carolina. It's been a gorgeous day today, and temperatures have been in the mid 70s, beautiful sky, and just a really nice day. We still need rain. I know that a lot of people in North Carolina are covered up in water, and we don't want to wish rain on ourselves if it would add to their misery. So it's just hard to know how to pray, except that God could spend some very selective showers down on areas that are in extreme drought. I think there's places in North Georgia, South Carolina, and here in the foothills of the Smokies that are just extremely dry. We're 10 or 12 inches below normal rainfall. And it's been 6 or 7 weeks since we've had any significant rain. So we just need to continue to get rain. I want to read to you just two verses of scripture from Philippians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9. First of all, Paul says, finally. Well, you know that's a dangerous thing for a preacher. We usually say finally or in conclusion, and we go on for another 20 minutes. And Paul does a little bit of that here in Philippians. But he says, finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is good, of good repute, if there's anything of excellence, anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things. Now, it's important to think carefully about what he's just said, not the finally part. As a matter of fact, today's preacher said, I'm going to pull over here in just a minute, so don't get too antsy. And I'd never heard that phrase before, but he said, I'm going to pull over here in just a minute. So I guess that means in conclusion also. But in any case, look at that list, if you will. What's true, what's honorable, what's right, what's pure, what's lovely, what's of good repute, anything of excellence, anything worthy of praise. Dwell on these things. A number of years ago, Lois had to have some surgery, and she asked God for a verse. And that verse that God gave her was Isaiah 26:3, and I'd like to paraphrase it for you. But it says, he who has his mind stayed on God will stay in a perfect peace. And we probably have quoted that 1,000 times to different people in different situations, mainly surgeries, but other situations as well. Whatever you do, you want to keep your mind stayed on him, not on the anesthesia, not on the doctors, not on the nurses, not on the cleaning of the operating room or the operating tools, not on anything but God. Mind stayed on him, he'll keep in perfect peace. That's exactly what Paul's saying here. He's saying those things that are pure, those things that are lovely, those things that are right, those things that are of good repute, those things of excellence, those things that are worthy of praise. Dwell on those things. And then listen to what he says. He says, if there's any of those things, then dwell on those things. The things that you have learned and received and heard from me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. If you'll just concentrate solely upon him and his principles and his ways, God will give you a peace even in the midst of turmoil and strife. You got to hear the rest of the story. You see, when God gave Lois that verse, it was one that was short enough that she could memorize. As a matter of fact, maybe I ought to read it to you in the New American Standard. You can read it in the King James. You can read it in the Amplified. They'll all say exactly the same thing, but sometimes it's easier to memorize a verse that is easier for you to memorize, and that's what she did. So she looked at Isaiah 26:3, and she said, I will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on me. I will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on me. So if you don't think about the doctors, you don't think about the anesthesia, you don't think about the possibilities, what could go wrong in the surgery, you don't think about the difficulties of recovery or anything else, but you keep your mind stayed on him, he'll keep you in perfect peace. Well, she was saying that to herself. She had memorized her particular translation version, and she said it over and over again. They gave her the La La Land shots before they wheeled her into surgery. She was still saying it to herself as she kissed me goodbye and as she went into surgery. And when she woke up in the recovery room, guess what was still running through her mind? I will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on me. And it had. It had kept her in a perfect peace. And even in recovery, with the pain from surgery and all of the other complications that come along with surgery, she was still saying, I will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on me. And that's exactly what Paul was saying here in these two verses in Philippians. He says, finally, my brethren, those things that are pure, those things that are lovely, those things that are of good repute, those things of any excellence, those things worthy of praise, dwell on those things. Think about those things. Keep your mind steadfast on those things. And what is the result? It says, the God of peace will be with you. That's a really worthy word today. I don't know what may be happening in your life. I don't know whether you're in pain. I don't know whether you're going through difficulties. But I do know that the God of peace says if you keep your mind on him. Today's devotion down at the associational meeting was able. God is able. Have you ever thought about how many ways God is able? Oh, this pastor did a wonderful job in telling us all the ways that God is able. And he is able. And he's certainly able to keep you in perfect peace in the midst of all of the turmoil and trouble. So I hope that you'll think about that today. And I hope no matter what's on your mind, that you'll remember the God of peace wants you to stay steadfast on his principles, on his things, those things that are pure, lovely, good repute, excellence, worthy of praise. Keep your mind on those things. Don't worry about the world around us and all of the calamities that are happening. Yesterday we went out to lunch. We did what we try to do every time we go to lunch and eat out. We asked the waitress, was there anything we could pray for her for? And she began to cry so badly that she had to look away. And she said, yes, pray for my son. My son got himself into really serious trouble. And I just need to try to help him to get through this. And you know what? The same principle that Paul taught here in Philippians, the same kind of verse that Lois got before surgery, applied to her as well. Keep your mind on him, and he'll give you a peace even in the midst of the trials and the tribulations of life. Your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.